start. What's up, mobile gamers? It's Johns or Gigs back with part two of my full roster tier list. Now, I am trying to keep the opinion out of this a little bit. I know a lot of you guys think that I'm pretty opinionated, which I am, but we're actually going to do a third tier list, which is completely opinion based. Like who I like to play, who I think's cooler, that kind of thing is going to be a factor. So keep an eye out for that one, probably Saturday, depending on if they release any skins. But we're starting off strong with some very, very easy picks. Um, and that's Kazuma in the S tier. A lot of people are sleeping on Kazuma. His damage is good now. And before, you can fly around and maybe you do hover and take a shot. And even if you have his passive, it reloads his gun. But before, you really couldn't do a lot with that. You know what I mean? Like, you could do some damage, but you weren't two or three shotting some of these heroes or doing a lot of splash damage. So now Cosmo has a damage buff, right? So you can capitalize right on the things that he's doing and his damage when he's in the air. So it's not as much of if you miss this shot, you're dead no matter what. It's like if you miss this shot, you can probably still kill them if they miss their shot or if you don't die right away. So he can still be shot out of the air, but in terms of surprise damage, right, I would say he's really, really good. I think he's probably the best pick for our S tier flankers, right? He is insanely versatile, and really the only downside is just being in the air. If you can minimize the time you're in the air, that will make you less predictable, and I would say that that's the main strategy with Kazuma. Even though his damage is good, so you can be like, oh, I should try to get most damage I can with Kazuma. That's not really the best strategy. You want to stay alive as Kazuma. The whole team should be on the lookout. Where's the Kazuma? And honestly, just that would be enough to warrant him being S tier and him being a danger to the enemy team. So, if they're looking out for you, they're like, oh my god, where's the Kazuma? Where's the Kazuma? We got to find him. We got to kill him. Because his damage from a surprise point or area is going to be very influential. So, Zero Kelvin is our next hero, and you guys, are going to be pissed. He's sitting in that B range. I'm debating dropping him down to C tier just because he just does not have any of the redeeming qualities that the other tanks have. I think, honestly, even Victor is probably a better pick. We'll get to Victor later, but Labula is very, very good. I'm honestly thinking A tier. I think he's kind of in a similar situation to Chemist where, Chemist has good heals. Labula has the invincibility. But overall, I think Labula, I think A's fair. I think Chemist is better. Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna go with Chemist in S tier. Maybe just because she's so versatile, she can do damage and heal at the same time. Labula kind of can, but he has to be up close to use his invincibility, whereas Chemist can use her abilities from far away. So I think just that will probably put him in A tier because he's very good, right? But without the healers in the meta, because I would say your S tier is definitely meta. So maybe we do move Chemist down and we move Labula to B. We'll see. If you guys think that S tier is meta and really, really good, like meta heroes, then I probably would move a few heroes down. But then again, it's like, is Iris meta? I would say no. Is Fade meta? I would say no again. But, Judix is definitely meta. So maybe, you know what? Maybe we just do this. Whoops. Right there. There. Okay. I think that's better. A little bit better. Just because Judix is definitely on the cusp, and she's definitely what I would consider a meta hero along with Gloria. But I'm not so sure I want to put Iris in the meta category. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Um, this is an easy one. Lacia is still OP. Right hand peek, one shot headshot. Um, she has the ability to deal with close range threats and far range threats very easily. She has a reveal with her kunai. The kunai also does damage and slows the opponent. So, win, win, win. Basically, there's nothing wrong with Lacia. She's everything in her kit is amazing. Everything in her kit is awesome. Her ultimate goes through walls. Yes, it does. It does a decent amount of damage. It does also show them if you're getting aimed at. It will show them that. But honestly, like it's so strong if you use it from like super far away or up close. Like if you can play it right, they won't have time to dodge. Um, a lot of the time, what I like to do is look at somebody who's close to another person, and it's about and you use it, and they're like, "Oh my god, I got to move," but then you switch to the other target, and then you basically guarantee that kill. That's what I usually do. But again, I don't really play her very often, and I think that's a super easy um, hero to place. I think she's very easy to place because she's so strong. I don't think the nerf was enough. That kind of brings us into Mark because Lacia, she just doesn't have. She doesn't have it, man. She doesn't have it going for her a lot, and it really sucks because, or sorry, she has all of it going for her a lot. She has no downsides. The only downside is she's paid, so you have to buy her, and I really really hate that. I really do. But if she was free, everybody be using her. So then again, it's like, I guess if they nerf her, honestly I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people spent money on her, and they're like, "Don't nerf her. That would make it worthless to even have spent money on her." I totally get that. Then again, she's so OP. But I mean, what do you guys think? Isn't she on the same level as the other top four there? Fort obviously he's a different beast altogether because he's a vanguard. But Hualing and Damon are very similar um, to Lacia, especially Hualing. She's almost like a carbon copy. I would say I actually prefer Hualing, but I know a lot of people would say Lacia is just, straight up better. So um, that's going to probably lead us into Mark just because Lacia is so easy to rank. And um, I don't know. I think Mark's going to stay in A tier for now because I simply don't have a damage hero in A tier, and I think he's better than Hunter and Gatlin simply because of his movement. If he didn't have his movement, you'd see him be a lot lower. He also has two really good ults. One of them does 25 to 50% damage when you activate it, and it marks them with the target. I want to say it's 50%, but for some reason I feel like I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 50%. Let me know down in the comments if I got that value wrong, but it's enough that it's worthwhile. It's really good to run. Slept on a lot, but here's the thing: his second ultimate is so good, so much utility, so useful. You can't go wrong with Mark's second ultimate. It's basically Hunters but on crack, because instead of blocking one specific area, one lane, you block a whole area, like all of it in a big square. Um, I guess Hunters is kind of nice, but I think overall Mark's is better. So just because of that, I think Mark has a little bit more going on with him to make me put him in a certain spot. Keep an eye out for my hero comparison coming out. I won't spoil who that is going to be about, but I think if you guys watch this and then you watch that in, I don't know, a couple days or whatever happens for recording, I think you guys are going to like that one. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one. So I think Mark's A tier for now. I don't see him moving, but I could be wrong. I just think he's really solid, very good. I think he's honestly better than Aletta. And right, a lot of you guys are going to freak out. A lot of people are like, Aletta's OP. This is the average player, all right? A normal player. If you are picking up Aletta and you're like, oh, she's OP, you're either A, going against really bad players or bots, or B, you just have learned her very well and you're not an average player with her anymore. The average player is not going to be crisscrossing the map and taking down tanks and other damage dealers very quickly. It's just not going to happen. And that brings us to Neon. I think we're going to go S. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Neon's not good anymore. Very decent damage, basically unlimited ammo, which is really nice. You also have Neon with her single target healing, which is honestly way better than a lot of the other healing you can get from the other healers. But I would say if your team has a tendency to bunch up, then maybe don't pick Neon. I just think that Neon works well with a Vanguard in her pocket. You can even teleport to a flanker and help them win their 1v1, which can sometimes be really huge. So overall, if she didn't have the teleport, I think she'd be an A. And I think the nerf brought her down from OP to S, if I'm being honest. I think she was really strong. She was a must-have, right? Now you've seen Fort go up to the top. You've seen a lot of damage dealers like these top three that we have here, Lacia and everybody. So I think the meta shift, along with a slight nerf, has brought her down. But I still think if you're going to run a healer, Neon is going to be the one most people are going to gravitate towards just because of that teleport, just because of that high single target healing. And her teleport does have an AoE heal when you first teleport. It's like 2,000 or something like that. So don't sleep on it. She's really good. Both her ults are amazing, literally incredible. I think that she's better than Iris in terms of healing. But if you look at damage, Iris is better. So overall, I think I'm going to put Neon above Iris because overall support class is about healing, and I think that just gives her that little bit of edge, especially with the invincibility. Because yes, Iris kind of has her invincibility ultimate, but if you get headshot, then you will die from a sniper. So it's not technically invincibility, right? It's kind of like a caveat. So, oh no. Yeah. See, here's the thing. Ono's better than Zero Kelvin simply because of the shield that can move along with him. And he pairs so well with somebody like Fort or Jabali. You're going to see Ono and be like, oh my god, this Ono is so annoying, so crazy. Zero Kelvin needs the other tank to just be good. So we're going to drop Zero Kelvin. He's bad, you guys. A lot of people are saying I'm crazy for that. I try to take into account what you guys are saying when you say, oh, this hero needs to be higher. Straight up, you're wrong on Zero Kelvin. I'm just going to say it. He's so bad, so bad. His damage is average. His snowballs do a lot of damage, but they get interrupted by the terrain just like Fade does. So he doesn't have a way to close the gap. You have to play him as so much of a flanking hero that I don't think it's worthwhile. Both of his ultimates are garbage. At least with Ono's second ultimate, I mean, like, guaranteed kill. Unless they see it and can run away in time. If they see it and can run away in time, then good for them. I mean, it's honestly a big enough radius. Unless they have an ability to move, they're probably not going to get out in time, especially if you do it right on their head. It insta-kills everybody except for tanks. A full health tank with Ono's second ultimate has, like, I want to say 100 to 500 health left or something like that. It's barely enough. Like, you will kill them with your next shot, but it is there. So if a healer is outside the radius and can jump in, she might be able to save the tank. But yeah, overall, I just don't think that Zero Kelvin has what it takes to be at Ono's level, but I don't think he's average. Ono is still below average. I think he's like bottom of B tier. I just don't see him being useful, especially like all these other tanks. Literally, all the other tanks are better than he is. I just straight up say that. Um, he's just inconsistent with his kit, and I think a lot of people are turned off by that. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to play him. I'm not going to do that." You know what I mean? So then we've got Osas. I am debating, right? I think Osas is easier to play than Hualing. He has different abilities, like the jump is really nice, the smoke's really nice, it's helpful for your team, whereas the snare trap is not. The teleport, dude. The teleport is absolutely crazy, absolutely busted. It is so strong. You can't go wrong with it. It's just the best. I think if he didn't have the teleport, he'd be S. But having a sniper who can teleport the whole team to a really good location from a super safe one, and then also if you're playing Osas correctly, you should be in a different area so they don't realize your teleporter is on that side of the map. So keep that in mind if you're playing Osas. But he's definitely OP. Probably bottom of OP though. I think that he's easier to learn, but he also, like, if you're not hitting your headshots, he's gonna feel like he's A to B. He's just, it's headshot central with him. I am gonna try to speed things up a little bit. Let's see. Ruby. Ruby is definitely A tier. I don't think she's S. I think Jabali and Fade have a little bit more going for them. But she's very clearly better than Ono. I think you're probably looking at something like that. Um, shoot. She's at the front, all right? That's where we're going to put her. Very top of A tier because of the fact she has her stun and a decent ultimate, better close range damage, but also flexible in that mid range. Her shields move, so you can be flexible with where you place them and stuff like that. And I don't want to make this like a 40-minute video, so we're going to go quicker. Very good. Ruby's awesome. Shell, I just dropped her where I had my finger, but Shell's definitely S tier. I think she's right there with Kazuma, honestly. Like, I'll just be honest. She's very good. I think that she's next to Diggy, I think. Yeah. It's weird because I feel weird having them all. Maybe I move Diggy up. Yeah, we're gonna move Diggy up for now. We'll kind of see how things shake out. Shell is very strong. She's got invincibility, which is nice, but you can see her when she's like, you can see where she's going to be. So if you are timing it correctly, you can really shut her down. But then again, I think she's got such good mobility with her teleport. She's got that little bit of extra damage from her radius second active. She's got two really good ultimates. I think the second one's probably better. But if you're trying to be like a movement god, then I think the first one's probably your go-to. Yeah. Overall, I think she's just really good. I think her damage is lacking compared to Kazuma, and then her movement is lacking compared to Diggy. But she's definitely better than Aletta. So, like I said, Aletta's bottom of A, or yeah, bottom of A probably. I think Diggy moving up, just the mobility that you get from her is so strong, but not as strong as Cosma. So like Cosma, then Diggy. I think that is a good order. Um, Sindri, I heard you loud and clear. A lot of you guys said she's not C tier. I'm actually going to move her up to the bottom of A, and the only reason that she's not in B is because I like her. You know what I mean? I think I'll be honest with you. I don't remember everybody's names on the YouTube comments, so I'm very sorry I don't remember your name, but you gave me a bunch of stuff about how good Sindri is and how you need to place her rage ball over and over and always keep moving it. So I do take that into account. I think that was some good points, and I think it brings her probably very close to Labula. I think we'll do this. Whoops. Yeah, there you go. I think we'll do that just because Gatlin's ability to break shield is nice, especially against a Labula. Um, he's very close to her though. Sindri's in a good spot. I think she's doing really good right now. Uh, but I would like a buff, like, because I almost really want to put her in B. Um, you know what? Feel free. Bottom of A, top of B is kind of where I want her. I'm not really so sure where to put her in terms of. I feel like she's A for healers, but if you're looking at the roster, do I think that Sindri's worth an Aletta? No, I think Aletta's worth more. So I think everybody in A is worth more than Sindri. And it's pretty close to being worth more with Hunter. This is tough. I really want her to be A. Um, shoot, dude, I don't know. That's crazy. Oh, okay, we'll go to Skady because Sindri's just gonna stay in B. I think she's really fun. She'd obviously be very high on the next video where I do my opinions, but I heard you loud and clear. I just don't think that in a full roster tier list, I can put her at A. I think that if you're looking at it objectively, you're more likely to have a flanker or a damage dealer before you are a healer. And I think that if you look at who's below her, they're more useful for certain situations. So I think you run Sindri over these bottom four, and like Hunter, Labula's pretty even. Um, yeah, something like that. I think that's pretty decent. I think Hunter's more valuable just because of the damage output. I think if you're going to go for a healer, I think your other healers are going to offer you just a little bit more in terms of healing. Um, I know. Okay, I didn't rank Tigger in the last video. It's not because I don't like him. Actually, yeah, he's gonna go right. He's gonna go right here. Um, very top of S, almost OP. He's awesome. I just don't know why his tag, his little icon wasn't in the video, and so I didn't even realize. I just didn't see it, and he would have been S for sure, probably even close to OP. Especially like where he is right now is pretty good. The invincible shield is very strong against Damon and Fort, and the dash is really nice. His ultimate allows you to stun, which can really allow you to capitalize on that with your team. But it just does a little bit more than Ruby's because it's more. It's not like it doesn't last longer in terms of like the activation rate, but it happens more often. It's like hit and stun, hit and stun. You know what I mean? Instead of just stun, then you're done. So you get stunned for a longer time, but it's in intervals rather than all at once. So I don't know if I explained that very well, but that's probably where I would put him. I think he's really good. Second best tank in the game, for sure. His damage is nice. I like that you can bounce his shield off of different obstacles and stuff like that. So then we come to our last Vanguard. That's Victor. Yeah, I think he's better than Ono, but it's not enough for me to put him above Hunter. Just because if you're running Hunter and you find a Victor, unless the Victor's already got the jump on you, you're going to have a hard time. Real quick, he's a C tier hero. Average player's not even going to have him. And he's not going to be worth getting for the average player either. So the average player is going to be like, I don't even need Vincent. So those ones are pretty easy, I think. I think those ones are not ones you guys are going to get mad about. This one, though, Yaw is slept on, all right? I know a lot of people don't think Yaw is very good. The Reflect is super awesome. Her damage is decent. Both her ultimates are really, really good. The dash is very good for executing enemies. Just know that she is the kind of hero you should be executing people with. So if Skady gets somebody low and they're execute worthy, then you execute them with the dash. And That's the majority of what Ya's going to do. She's going to reflect damage from damage dealers and snipers and maybe even other flankers, and then she's going to execute anybody who's low. So she's going to really help your team secure kills, and that's very strong and very helpful. So I'm actually going to pause and kind of look at this for a second and then decide what I want to do and if I'm going to change anybody. Okay, you guys, I went ahead and looked at it, and the only thing that I really think you guys are going to be upset about is one of the heroes, and then also, please remember, this is for the average player. Average player, average player, average player. So uh, keep that in mind, right? Somebody who probably doesn't even have every hero, definitely doesn't maybe even have them all maxed out. Somebody who probably is in like that gold range, really need to emphasize that because, like, for instance, Aletta, she's cracked. She's really good. Diamond players and up are gonna have so much fun with her. She's so nice and she's got that sauce, but it just doesn't do it for the average player that picks up Aletta who just is casual. You know what I mean? She's going to be a little bit harder to learn than somebody like Diggy or Ya. Those are a little bit more straightforward heroes. So the hero I'm talking about is going to be Christina. I know a lot of you guys. Honestly, I just feel like if you look at the overall damage, Christina's a little bit inconsistent, and her bombs are pretty difficult for the average player to shoot, especially with auto fire. If you have auto fire on with Christina, you're done. Like, she's garbage. So, most players use auto fire on all their heroes if they're an average player, somebody who just kind of started the game and stuff like that, or they've only been playing for a little while. Her kit is very difficult to master as well, like the same way with Aletta. So overall, I think the average player is not going to enjoy Christina as much unless they take the time to get to know her. And for somebody like Hunter, they're going to be like, oh, point and shoot, that's easy. Gatlin, point and shoot, go to Uber charge, that's easy. Aletta, user dashes, you know what I mean? I just think that Christina doesn't have a lot going for her character-wise also. I think most people don't really they look at her and they're like, ah. So I think she's still average. C tier is still decent. I think you can run any of the C tier heroes and do good if you're really good. And I think Christina's almost like that C tier exception where she's bottom of B, top of C. And you can really, if you like Christina and you take time to get to know her, she can go up just like Aletta and stuff like that. I just think that she has a little bit more mobility that's dependent on the player. If she's going to go up, that is going to be wise the player, but the average player is not going to really put a lot of time into her. And I mean, really, they're going to see Gloria and be like, yeah, Gloria is very straightforward, very easy to learn, and she's straight up very direct damage. So they're going to think that Gloria is better. Where if you're like, okay, pro level, Christina might be better than Gloria at a pro level or like very high rank and stuff like that. So I can definitely see that, but that's the only one I can see you guys getting very crazy about. So keep an eye out. We're going to do an opinionated one, right? I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to be like, I hate this hero, and then drop him to F or something like that. It's going to be insane. I'm really excited for it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Who you want in OP tier? Do you think that? I think that a lot of people will say Tigger is that OP tier. I'm totally cool with that, and let me know if you want any of the other S tiers into the OP tier, because keep in mind it is the average player, but I know some of these guys can go pretty crazy. So that's the video for you guys. We will see ya in the next one.